Well, good afternoon, everybody. Certainly excited to be playing in the tournament again this year. I think it's really grown every year we've done it. And, last year we had a great crowd for the final game, and there's a lot of energy and excitement in the building, certainly. And I'm expecting more of the same. I haven't seen the new arena yet, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So we know we have a very formidable opponent in Quinnipiac. They're playing pretty well. I think they're 3-0-1 in their last 4 games, and they're defending champions. So we'll have all we can handle Friday at 4:00 with the Bobcats, that's for sure.
Coach Allain.
Yeah, hi. Thanks everyone for your attention here, and I'm really looking forward to Friday night's game. Getting to see my old friend CJ. I know he's got a great team this year. I've been in the building, but haven't had a chance to play in the building. So really looking forward to it. I know the atmosphere will be great, and I hope our guys will be ready to compete.
CJ.
Yep. Thanks, everybody, for taking part in this Zoom today. We very much look forward to hosting this Connecticut Ice event. I know the people here at Sacred Heart have been working really hard to create a great ambiance, atmosphere for the players and the fans. I think all 4 teams are playing very good hockey right now, so it should be a really good weekend of hockey in store. And our opponent, Yale, I have a lot of respect for Keith and his team. I know he's a great coach, even better person, and it's always fun, facing off against someone who I call a very close friend. But when that puck drops, I know we'll both be wanting to win. But I think both teams will put on a good show at 7:30 Friday night.
Rand, how about an opening statement about your team and coming here to CT Ice?
Yeah, we're excited. Great matchup with UConn. They're 9th in the pairwise. Cav and his staff have done a great job getting his boys ready. I watched both their games this weekend. They were excellent. Really impressed with what his staff has done this year, and excited to play in Sacred Heart's rink. I've been in there a few times. Haven't had my team there yet, but it's really impressive, the commitment that Sacred Heart has made, and CJ is doing a great job. They're having a great year, so we're looking forward to it.
Okay, let's open it up to some questions. We don't need to bore you with all the details about things that you already have at your fingertips. So you guys know who to ask. Please, media, chime in with questions for all 4 coaches, please.
CJ, it's Eric Dobrats from Channel 8. How are you today?
How you doing, Eric?
What does this mean to you and your program to host this event? You mentioned how they're trying to, the university's doing a great job, but a lot of people are going to be coming into the rink for the first time this weekend. And what should fans who haven't been there before expect to see from this fabulous new arena?
Yeah, I think all the programs that have hosted it before have done a terrific job. We're just trying to follow suit and, do the best that we can. I think the fans that come are going to see a state-of-the-art building, cool amenities upstairs on the executive suite. The concourse is great with the windows. I just think it's a great venue, great sight lines. People will be able to see the game well, feel like they're on top of the action, and see some great games, both games.
Rand, this is Dom Amori from the Current. They kind of crossed me up by not doing the hands thing here today, but can you speak to how this tournament has served as a springboard for the rest of the season? Obviously, for you guys, you've gone on from winning this tournament to bigger and better things. Do you feel like this tournament is set up, time of year, competition, and all of those things? It's set up as a springboard for what comes next.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's I love the time of year that we do it. You know, you're kind of, you got your team set, you're getting ready, you know, fully into playoff mode, but we're getting there. But you know, it's great to try to play for a trophy. Anytime you can play for a trophy, whether it's early or late, I think it's definitely better late in the year, but I think it is a nice springboard. I'll use your word. It's a great springboard to get us ready for an ECAC run and hopefully for all four of us, an NCAA run, you know, depending on how things go at the end of the year. But, you know, again, in the end, again, looking forward to coming to Sacred Hearts Rink and actually playing in it and seeing underneath. I haven't been underneath it yet. But in the end, you know, there's a trophy on the line that I think all four teams want.
I'll ask Cav, can you kind of speak to that also? I mean, how much do you think it would mean for your program, which is doing well as it is, to have this as maybe a springboard to the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it would be great. I have always said, you know, from my years of coaching in the Bean Pot, now this tournament, I think it's a great dress rehearsal for what's to come. You know, when you're playing in a game where there's a trophy on the line, and it's basically, you know, single elimination. It prepares your team to play a little bit differently. It's different than, like, the following weekend we'll play Providence, and if you lose the first on Friday night, that doesn't mean your chances of winning anything are gone. You know, it's just a different mentality. So when we're playing Friday against Quinnipiac, there's only one of us who's going to move on to play in the championship game, and that certainly adds a lot more to the game. And it helps. I really do believe it helps when you get later on in the season and you're faced with a single elimination tournament.
John Doyle, you got a question?
Yes, thank you. This directed mostly at Coach Cavanaugh of UConn. Coach, you've coached in obviously both the CT Ice and the Bean Pot. Just overall, I mean, obviously the CT Ice is modeled after the Bean Pot, but do you feel like this tournament maybe is still in the Bean Pot shadow a little bit, or is that, you know, something that you know, you guys are hoping to establish that to make this tournament as prominent as the Bean Pot someday?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's on the same level yet with the Bean Pot. They've been doing it for what, 60 years? How many years is it now?
It's a lot.
A lot. Yeah, so they've grown that, but I don't think there's any reason why we can't grow this tournament to emulate that and be, you know, Connecticut's Bean Pot. I certainly think that that's possible to do. You know, last year, I believe we had roughly 7,000 or 8,000 for the final game, and it was an awesome atmosphere. And I think that's something we can continue to build on.
Coach Cavanaugh, nice to meet you. I'm McKenna Wright. I'll be doing all things rink side reporting for the broadcast this weekend. But you have a captain in Hudson Shandor who tells me he thinks the game very well and he knows he contributes offensively. But what has this kid brought to your program for the last 5 years, and what do you see for him? He has yet to beat QU in a CT Ice championship game. This is his last shot, last kick at it. What do you see from him this weekend, and what has he brought to your team these last 5 years?
Yeah, I think one, when he made the decision to come back for his 5th year, he and John Spetz, that was crucial for our program. They are both, I think John's the all-time leading scorer for defensemen in the Hockey East era, and Hudson's the all-time leading scorer for forwards in the Hockey East era. So they're both great players on the ice. They're terrific leaders off the ice. You know, Hudson's kind of our poor man's Patrice Bergeron. He's going to play in all situations. He's going to kill penalties. He takes draws. He's on the power play. You know, he's going to play whether you're 6-on-5 or 5-on-6. He's on those units. So he's a kid that started as a 4th liner and has worked his way up to be the all-time leading scorer here in the Hockey East era for UConn. So I think that says a lot about him.
Hey guys, Gabby from NBC here. when we talk about every year we go and we talk about growing the game and how this is kind of growing the game in Connecticut and what I think is so unique about getting to sit here with the four of you coaches is you are the representation of New England hockey and what can come out of here as well. So I hate to do this open-ended when I have four coaches in front of me, but if any one of you, we'll start with CJ because you get to be the host. But to represent amongst the four of you guys, the camaraderie of what Connecticut and New England hockey can be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm friends with all these coaches. We've crossed paths throughout, recruiting and even, social things. So I have a lot of respect for all of them. And the teams that they bring in here, they're very well coached. And each coach is so involved within their area, within youth hockey itself. That's how I got to love the game, by growing up watching Yale hockey. I used to be one of those kids on the rail watching, and I emulated all those guys. So I just hope that the kids that come to the games this weekend grow up wanting to play at one of our four programs, and their parents continue to bring them to the rinks and support us. And we, in turn, as coaches, we're in the rinks too, trying to grow the game at the youth level too. I know I try to be involved as I can, and I take a lot of pride in that. And I love being in the youth hockey rinks, getting on the ice with young kids and just talking to them, and it's very refreshing.
Who among you all has the best accent?
From where?
I don't know. We've got a little New Haven. We've got Keith, I think, representing Worcester. So Keith,
Yeah.
I'd love your thoughts on this too.
On Worcester and my accent?
Yeah, on your
or-
accent, yes. No, on
Yeah.
on representing across New England, really, just with the four head coaches, never mind, of course, the teams.
Yeah, I mean, the college hockey community is actually a very tight-knit community. We see each other everywhere. We're talking to the same players. We're watching the same players. It becomes a family thing, and CJ undersells himself a little bit about how he's involved in the youth hockey community. Last night I was at the Northford rink till 10 o'clock with CJ because he was running Team Connecticut tryouts, and we're selecting, I don't know how old, these 9 and 10-year-old players, 10 and 11-year-old players is kind of the first step in that USA Hockey identification pool. But, CJ runs that, and I was there, and the Quinnipiac assistant coaches were there, and UConn coaches have been there in the past. And, so we all, and we do this because we love hockey, right? We could all be doing different things, and we like to be involved, not just at the college level, but all the way up.
Keith, can you talk about your team from a year ago to where you are now? You had a huge win 3 weeks ago against BU, and just how does that help your program going into a tournament like this? The confidence. I'm sure you had confidence heading into the season, but what does a win like that do for you guys overall?
Yeah, is that a real fire behind you?
Propane. Yeah, you like that?
Propane? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. In terms of our team, it's been an interesting year. I came into the year really expecting a lot. We had a good big senior freshman class. Our seniors are great, and we've been banged up pretty much all through the fall. And so I went into Christmas break not really sure what we had because our lineup was different, and but we're getting healthier. I thought since we've come back from Christmas break, we've played well. We did have a nice game against BU. We won up at Dartmouth on the road against a very good team, and we split this weekend, and I really liked the way we played this weekend. We got down 3-0 early against Clarkson, but I thought we were the better team the last 2 periods, and I liked our full 60 minutes against St. Lawrence. So, as a coach, the one thing that has always been important to me is developing and growing and making sure our kids get better as the season goes on. And I think that we're a better hockey team now than we were December 1st, that's for sure. And we'd like to use a tournament like this to make sure we're a better team February 1st than we are right now.
Thanks.
Any
You
other
talk-
questions for our four head coaches?
Rand, can you talk about your squad before the season started? You mentioned you had a lot of transfers and change to your roster. Have things gone about as smoothly as you'd expect, or how would you quantify things right now?
I wouldn't say it's been smooth. It's been a little bit of turmoil. Yeah, we have 14 new players, so we've been all over the map, but we're after a real shaky start. I think we were 3-5, and then we've gone, I think 11-2 since then, 11-2-2 or something like that. So we definitely righted the ship. But we're a little bit all over the map. We got a lot of freshmen playing, but I like our group. We're getting better, and this is a great weekend, a great way to challenge us. And as I already stated with UConn earlier, I mean, they look awesome. So this is a great matchup for us and a great challenge.
Cav, let me jump in again. I know you were looking at that 2 games in Maine as a big challenge, and you guys obviously stood up to it. You got the big game from Muldowney, and then the clutch goal to get a tie on Sunday. How much do you think your team grew by that weekend?
Well, certainly when Maine's a very tough place to play. I think we've all been up there, and Alphon has one of the best atmospheres in all of college hockey, and it's a tough place to get points. So I was proud of the team's effort, but there's a long way to go, and there's a lot of hockey to be played in front of us, and I think we all have been around long enough to know that from week to week it can change very, very quickly. So you have to be able to play at your best. In tournaments like this on Friday, we're going to have to be able to play our very best because, like I said, Quinnipiac's a 3-time defending champion, and they have a lot of pedigree, and it's going to be another great challenge for us. And I think it's going to be a really good, like I said, weekend of hockey. There's for the state, Yale's been around forever. I think they've had hockey since the late 1800s. Quinnipiac still, Rand's been there for a long time, but it's still a fairly new program. When I was playing college hockey, Quinnipiac wasn't, a Division I college hockey team. And then CJ's program is fairly new, and so are we. Really, in the last 11 years, that's all we've been in Hockey East. So for what Yale's done winning a national title and Quinnipiac winning a national title, and they've really elevated the status of college hockey in this state. And we're looking to create some more memories and add to that growing passion for the game in Connecticut this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know whom to address this question to, since none of you are really in the administration of the tournament. But if anybody can comment on, the tournament's settling in nicely. This is 5th year now. What do you see as maybe the future of the tournament? Would any of you prefer to see it go to a permanent location as opposed to the rotating host? Would be one specific question. But if anybody wants to comment on, what they see the future of this tournament holding over the next few years or maybe the next decade. Anyone?
We'll leave that to the administrators.
Fair enough.
This is going towards Coach Marottolo. So your team's beaten 2 ranked opponents this season, and you're playing great hockey lately. How does that help your team's confidence heading into a tournament with such great competition?
Yeah, we've played some really good teams along the year, and I've had some ups and downs, but you pull experiences. We've come from behind in games. We've had good third periods. We've gotten off to good starts. There's a lot of things that create experiences for your team. And I think, the ranked, we Cornell a couple weeks ago, they're a very good team. hard to play against. I think our guys gained a lot of confidence from that. They're a staple in, ECAC hockey, and they've always been pretty good. But on any given night, anybody could beat anybody. And the three other teams in this tournament, it's unbelievable competition.